want just like 2 Thopters, right? You want 10. You want more, right?
Yeah, you want all of the Thopters.
I have so many Thopters, but they're all matching art, which is nice. And they're on blue card stock. And actually, I didn't get these for free. I did pay for them, but they're really nice. Really excellent tokens.
Awesome. So make sure you guys check out isleofcards.com. It's the physical embodiment of Cardhoarder. So if you want to buy or sell your cards in real life, you can do so through isleofcards.com. And you can order those awesome limited edition tokens. I don't believe they're going to be available forever. In the meantime, we've got Moxflip, who is on Delver Fiend, playing Maxlongitude, who is on Mono Green. And we've got a blazingly fast start. So let's go ahead and get everybody caught up with the board. Looks like Flip has an island and a mountain on the battlefield, along with a 1/1 Delver of Secrets and a Killing Fiend, 5 cards in hand. And Max has 3 forests, a Quirion Ranger, a Nettle Sentinel, and a Skargan Pitskulk that has been bloodthirsted, so it's a 2/2. Things are going quick, but it looks like Max does have a little bit of an edge. He has a creature advantage, he's on the play, so he has a mana advantage, and now he's gotten Flip down to 14 life points. So this game could end fairly quickly. However, it can go either way. Because of Temur Battle Rage, Moxflip can literally do 20 points of damage in 1 turn.
Yes. Which is, I mean, it's a mainstay of the deck. They want to place it for a reason. It gives them that punch that the deck really needs.
Yeah, it's pretty insane. So Delver is not going to flip, but Max is able to put so many creatures on the battlefield in 1 turn. We got a Quirion Ranger, Vault Scourge, Vault Scourge. So we have over 3 turns here. Max has played 6 mana worth of creatures, which is the maximum you could do. 1-on-1, 2-on-2, 3-on-3. It's pretty insane.
Yeah, just curving out.
So Terramorphic Expanse is just going to find an island here for Moxflip. He's going to cast a Preordain, triggers Killing Fiend. It's going to become a 4/2. But since he's played the land this turn, he's not able to threaten something like Temur Battle Rage, so he can't really attack with this Killing Fiend, which is going to be a little rough considering Max has quite the growing army on his side of the battlefield.
Yeah, he's just going wide, and I think that's something that the Killing Fiend decks just don't really handle very well unless they're becoming unblockable, which they can do. But yeah, with Max going wide, he could even just start blocking and still winning the board state.
Yeah. Oh, you know what? I remember what I was going to say. So
Shoot.
It's not going to be relevant in this particular match, even though some of those cards are in Moxflip's sideboard. But there were 2 new spoilers for Eternal Masters here in the last few minutes. And it's 2 cards that are going to be available in foil for the first time. And they're played in Pauper, which is awesome. They're going to be at Uncommon and Eternal Masters, but Hydroblast and Pyroblast have just been confirmed for being in Eternal Masters, which means there's going to be more of them available on Magic Online, especially since they're uncommon, and it's going to drive the price of those cards down, which is exciting for people that play Pauper.
The new art on them, Chris, is gorgeous.
Yeah, it's real awesome.
And new flavor, too.
Now, Snafu is asking why this deck runs Quirion Ranger. So the reason this deck runs Quirion Ranger is that it only has 16 lands, and Quirion Ranger, is going to be able to act as just multiple mana sources every turn by tapping your land for mana, returning it back to your hand, and being able to replay it when you don't have a land to play for the turn. So it's going to give you a lot of mana. It's especially potent if you have mana creatures in your deck, which Max doesn't, but it's still very good as a way to untap lands for the turn when you don't have lands to play. Skargan Pitskulk, 2 Vault Scourgers are going to get in for 4 points of damage. Going to bring Flip down to 8, bring Max back up to 18. He's going to play a Ledgewalker, use his Quirion Ranger to untap a Vault Scourge, give him an extra blocker if his Delver flips, and untap a land, basically. Delver is not going to flip, which is pretty bad news for Mox. This is every time that we see Mox flip on coverage, his moto name is Flip This, and his Delver of Secrets literally never flip.
Never, not once. It's perfect. It's great. Okay, so if Moxflip is going to win this one, Chris, it's got to be some sort of sequence that involves the sorcery that gives one of his creatures unblockable. In these decks, it's actually Shadow Rift.
Because it's an instant.
It is an instant, so my bad. But I was thinking of the one that's being played in Modern. But he's only running 2 copies. I'm looking at his list right now. And without that, how is he going to break through like a nice big Tamir Battle Rage? What do you think, Chris?
Yeah, so the mere presence of Battle Rage and Flip This's deck means that if he makes his Killing Fiend sufficiently large enough and attacks with it to where Max would be dead to a Battle Rage unless he blocks with all of his creatures, it could force him into a spot where he has to make a choice where he either blocks with all of his creatures and loses them all if he doesn't have a Battle Rage, or block with all of his creatures and die if he does have a Battle Rage. So it could just be a really awkward spot for Max. Now, that's exactly what's going to happen here. So he's going to attack with his Killing Fiend, and so if he has a Battle Rage, it's going to be, 8 or 9 to be 18 points of damage. So he has to block this with at least 1 creature. Now, if Max has a spell in a Battle Rage, then we're going to be looking at 22 points of damage, which means Max is going to have to put 1, 2, 3, 4. So he's going to have to put 4 of his creatures, one of which being the Nettle Sentinel, on this Killing Fiend to not die this turn, and that's just going to decimate his board if he doesn't have a Battle Rage.
Do you block with the Lifelinker? Is that relevant?
Well,
or do you want to save Scourge should the Delver flip?
On Max's side, so like if he has a Battle Rage, the lifelink isn't going to count towards gaining us some life because it'll die to the first strike damage.
Yes, that's true.
So I would probably keep the Vault Scourge if I don't have to block with it, as a way to try and climb out of this hole, and just having an evasive threat.
Yeah, Max has taken a really long time to look at this nice 7/2 Kiln Fiend, and he's probably thinking a lot of the things that we just talked about, you and I, Chris.
He could just actually be dead. So he's used almost all of his mana every single turn for the first 4 turns and just amassed this huge board presence and giant life advantage, but still literally could be dead because of Temur Battle Rage. I wish that card was an uncommon, then I wouldn't have to worry about it. I lose to this deck so much.
Really?
Because it's just you can put yourself in these insane positions where you're so far ahead, and then you just lose because they have these 3 exact cards that they need to have to kill you, one of which being Battle Rage. So only blocking with the Quirion Ranger here means that a Battle Rage is going to put him to 1, but if he has a spell in a Battle Rage, then he just wins the game.
I don't like this check from Max. There's a Bolt.
Yeah, Bolt up top, puts him at 15. If Flip This has a Battle Rage here, game's over.
I mean, the thing is they have perfect knowledge. I know I bring this up oftentimes, but not respecting and there's the battle, and that's the match.
This is actually really interesting. It's +3. Okay, for some reason I thought it was +2. Yeah, so because Flip This had Lightning Bolt Battle Rage, he wins this game no matter what. So even if Max puts all of his creatures that are untapped on the Killing Fiend, he can bolt the Nettle Sentinel and then Battle Rage, and it's still going to be enough to win the game.
Yeah. But even so, just I wonder if Max was thinking about, okay, if he has Battle Rage, I'm dead anyway, or do I block aggressively and try to live through this?
That's the struggle.
Mm-hmm.
One super interesting thing is I almost would be willing to bet that the reason this Delver of Secrets hasn't flipped is that one of the cards that Moxflip saw was Temur Battle Rage and didn't want to give the information away because a flip Delver was just irrelevant to the game state.
Yeah, that is so cool. I mean, and we saw that was suspicious because what was it? He had just cast a Preordain.
Exactly.
And typically that's going to help you flip your Delver.
So let's go ahead and take a look at Flip's sideboard. We've got a Dispel, 2 Electrickery, 3 copies of Flame Slash, a Flaring Pain, 2 copies of Pyroblast, 2 Relic of Progenitus, 1 Counterspell, and 3 Stormbound Geist. What do you think that Mox is going to do here?
Well, the way that we lose this match, this is of course me speaking from Flip's perspective, the way that we lose this match is Max goes too wide, we're not able to cobble together that combo-esque finish that we just saw. I would consider the trickeries and maybe even some number of slash. What do you think?
Yeah, I mean, that's exactly would be my opinion of it.
Okay, so
But
just those
potentially a Dispel is a way to counter something like Vines of Vast would. But I don't think that's something that I'm going to be too worried about. He's playing against Maxlongitude, and so we just saw his sideboard, and I have to redo it. That's so weird. My OBS is being dumb. So Max has 2 copies of Gut Shot, 2 Epic Confrontation, 2 Gleeful Sabotage, 2 Brindle Shoat, 2 Natural State, 2 Relic, and 3 Scattershot Archer. What do you think he's going to do here?
Well, it's funny we have these epic confrontations, because something that I was joking about with one of my buddies who took Infect to the GP, Chris, was that he had trouble dealing with Malira, and he wanted something different than Dismember. I actually don't hate this spell in this case. If we can Confrontation the Kiln Fiend, or even a Delver, we're looking pretty good. Moxflip's list is rather threat light. So I'd maybe consider the Confrontations. The Gut Shot's interesting as well. Picking off a Delver before it flips is relevant. What do you think about those thoughts?
Yeah, I mean, not having some sort of fog variant is going to be really rough. And Gut Shot, like, even if he has to spend 2 Gut Shots to kill a Killing Fiend, it's going to be worth it. So I'd probably bring in Gut Shot. Epic Confrontation isn't all that bad, as well as a way to actually remove some creatures. All in all, this is going to be a real rough match.
Yeah, for Mac, I mean, he just doesn't interact, and you have to interact with even with these wonky sideboard. They're a little wonky sideboard cards coming in. He just doesn't. His deck does not do a good job interacting, and we saw that with Jeff a little bit in the form of he just couldn't interact with some of these big powerful spells that Jeff had, with even something like a Dispel. And then against this opponent, he wasn't able to interact with that Battle Rage kill, Chris.
Yeah, just you get forced in these spots where you have to block in a certain way or die, and I feel like a lot of times it's going to be right to just try and win the game as opposed to block to lose the game. So I can't blame Max for playing the way he did. He is going to start out blisteringly fast. He's got a Young Wolf into a Nettle Sentinel and a Vault Scourge. Flip this is just going to gain a life with his Swiftwater Cliffs, and then on his second turn, going to use a Flame Slash and a Lightning Bolt to dispatch both that Nettle Sentinel and that Vault Scourge. So Maxlongitude has a land for his turn. He's down to 3 cards in his hand, but doesn't have another play along with that Young Wolf. So this is going to give Flip this a lot of time to assemble his combo.
Yeah, and here we have it. Kiln Fiend coming down.
There's that Killing Fiend's going to come down for Moxflip. He's going to pass back to Maxlongitude. Let's see what kind of answers he has here. We got 2 mana.
I see him tap.
Here's an Epic
Oh,
Confrontation.
yes.
So it's going to give
Wonderful.
this creature +1/+2. It's going to fight that Killing Fiend. He's going to be able to gain for 2 points of damage, bringing Moxflip down to 17 and pass back. Now Moxflip did miss his 3rd land drop, so it is possible that he has a handful of Nivik Cyclops that he can't deploy because he's missing his 3rd land.
Yeah. Well, I guess Flip's going to know now what's going on with Max. Max, maybe a few more land drops than you want to get with this green deck.
Oh yeah, like 4 lands. I mean, he's drawn 25% of his lands. So, in a normal 24 land deck, like if this is the equivalent of like drawing 6 lands in the first 4 turns, which is a lot.
Yeah.
Looks like he hasn't deployed a creature yet. He's just going to get in for 1 with this Young Wolf. It could just be that he has a bunch more Epic Confrontations in his hand or some more pump spells. Ooh, there's that Nest Invader, so this is going to put
Good.
an 0/1 Scion, an 0/1 Eldrazi spawn. It's not a Scion; they're different tokens, which I definitely disliked that flavor-wise, but that's just me.
Oh, the Scions?
Yeah, the difference between the spawns and the Scions.
Yeah. Well, Scions are much better. They have an attack power. It's relevant here.
Oh, well, there's another Killing Fiend. So normally you have to be really scared of this card, but since Moxflip is kind of choked on mana, Max can like take these next couple turns to just attack as forcefully as possible. This Young Wolf's going to crash in as a 1/1 against that Killing Fiend, representing the pump spell that he likely has in his hand. Like I think if I'm Moxflip and I know that one of the cards in Max's hand is not a pump spell, I make that block. But since he doesn't make the block, I have to imagine that he saw a pump spell when he probed.
Oh, I'm sure he definitely did. I mean, Vines is a fantastic card to have in Pauper. I was speaking with a friend, even without Invigorate in the format, he was working on developing a blue-green infect for Pauper, and it seemed pretty good. I mean, like, Vines is pretty good. You've got Mutagenic in the format too, Chris.
Yeah, that's true. We do have Mutagenic. See, for the Infect deck, Glistener Elf is a common. Blight Agent's also a common, right?
Yeah, it is. Yeah, it's like all the premier threats except for Inkmoth are here in Pauper.
That's pretty sweet.
Mm-hmm.
All right,
That
well,
looked pretty good.
Killing Fiend is going to attack as a 7/2. Just going to get chumped by that 0/1 Scion token.
Yeah, I mean,
what's actually
at least it
really
did something.
what's really interesting there is with that Scion. If Moxflip had a Teamer Battle Rage, he could have just won the game.
I don't think he has it. I hope not, because if he did, he just didn't math that turn. Yeah. Oh, Inkmoth is insane. Snafu.
Yeah, I mean,
Card's
it's
very good.
basically the best card in all of the different flavors of Infect. Outside of Legacy, I think Brainstorm's probably the best card in that deck, but Inkmoth Nexus is very close. It's definitely the best. It's definitely the best poison threat, that's for sure.
Yeah, I mean, just not be a creature when you want it to not be a creature, and then be a creature when you need it to be is pretty relevant. The format that people look up to. Well, I mean, Terminus though, instant speed thanks to Sensei Stop. So, but still a very flexible threat, Chris. I agree with you there.
All right, so we're on Max's turn. He's up to 3 cards in hand. Left totals, Max is 18, Moxflip is at 11. Let's see what kind of attack we get here. Looks like he's going to leave Young Wolf back. Very likely just going to chump block this Killing Fiend. Nest Invader's going to get in for 2 to bring Moxflip down to 9. The beats have started to slow down here. Ooh, he does have another creature, though. He has a Garruk's Companion. I wonder if it was right just to attack with that Young Wolf.
Yeah, I don't know, and I wish we knew what Max. Or excuse me, what Max has, what Mox has seen, and then we have a bolt.
Ooh,
Are we supposed to spend this bolt? Ooh.
The bolt's going up top.
Yeah.
That's bad
What
news.
does that mean, Chris?
That's
Battle
bad
Rage?
news.
This has to mean Battle Rage, doesn't it?
That's real bad news.
Oh, Meowfid, we saw Phyrexian Crusader not but a couple weeks ago, didn't we? Somebody piloted a black-green infect with great success. That was the same weekend that Pete Ingram took blue-red Jeskai Nahiri, if I'm not mistaken, Chris. Do you remember?
I honestly don't. I was too busy watching the Jeskai Nahiri deck just demolish everybody.
There was a really sweet black-green infect deck in that top 8, actually.
Yeah, green-black is literally protection from Nahiri.
Yeah.
Alright, so Flip is still deciding what he wants to do here. He has 1 blue mana in his mana pool. He's got 6 cards in hand. That Lightning Bolt going up top is real interesting. I'm really excited to see what he does.
Yeah, it has to be here.
He's shown very good prowess. No pun intended, obviously, with playing this blue-red Delver deck.
Oh yeah, it's very much
Let's
his
see if he can
style. I
piece
think I
it
touched
together.
on this. Oh, go ahead. I
See
just
if
really
he-
want to touch on this.
Yeah, go ahead.
Just really quick, Mox plays blue, red Storm in Modern. I actually saw him at the GP and got to hang with him for a little bit. He is a really nice guy. But this is all he plays. He plays blue, red Storm. So this deck totally makes sense for Mox, Chris.
Yeah, Langley. The bolt was end of turn, and it went up top instead of handling that 3/2, which is what I think was interesting. All right, so there's a Preordain, there's a Gataxian Probe. If he has just like another bolt here and a Battle Rage, this game is just over.
Yes. And I can't, like I was trying to compliment Mox a second ago, I can't imagine that he would end step a bolt if he didn't have Max dead from the rest of the cards in his hand. He's just not that kind of player. When he knows he has the kill, he calculates it, he maths it out, and he does it. Very precise.
Teamer Battle Rage is a hell of a card.
It's a stupid card.
Ooh. Apostle's Blessing. This is protection from green. Can't block. Oh, what do we got? He's gonna Vines the Killing Fiend. So that's likely the card that he's seen this whole time.
Do you think that? Okay.
I mean,
So
now
you should explain the
now
interaction.
he can just Battle Rage. So how this interaction is going to work is Vines of Vastwood makes target creature can't be the target of spells or abilities your opponents control this turn. So Vines is going to give Killing Fiend that can't be the target of spells or abilities that Maxlongitude's opponents control. So since Flip This is an opponent of Maxlongitude, the Apostle's Blessing will no longer be able to target the Killing Fiend, which is going to the Vines is going to counter it. So here we have
It's killing.
Fascinating stack of abilities and
Oh,
spells.
God, it's bothering me.
my wife is literally over here losing her mind on the couch because I'm pronouncing it Killin instead of Kiln. It's Kiln Fiend. I'm sorry. But the Vines of Vastwood is going to counter the pump spells effectively from the Kiln Fiend.
So
Oh,
wait,
wow.
what just happened there?
So Vines countered both Apostle's Blessing and Teamer Battle Rage. So
What?
Kiln Fiend was like a 10-2 or a 12-2 or whatever, but didn't have Trample or Double Strike anymore. So he didn't attack with it, and now Epic Confrontation just ends the game.
Yeah. Wait a second. I think I missed something there. Was it double vines?
Was Double Vines.
Oh my sweet lord, that is wonderful. Using the vines that way, I love seeing that. When you have these in factory, you have these pump style decks, like using it defensively is or instead of offensively is always hilarious. Like using it on your opponent's creatures is so Max really showing his neuroscientist brain there, wouldn't you say?
Yeah, definitely for sure.
After a quick sideboard, we're back.
Yeah, and that's actually so they just fixed this with this update today. If you're watching them and they go to like sideboarding and then come back again, like before it wouldn't automatically update the screen for you. I would just have to like close it and reopen it. But now this is really nice.
I agree.
The
Keep
Vines of
watching.
Vastwood thing is pretty awesome because you used to be able to use it to counter Splinter Twin in Modern when you were playing Infect.
That's a spicy meatball because we all know that was a bit of the boogeyman of the format.
Yeah.
Was.
I mean, you also can use
Do you
it
miss
to
it?
you also can use it to counter like Arcbound Ravager, its modular ability, which is pretty sweet too. I don't miss it.
You don't miss it.
I do not.
Any particular? Because I've heard several explanations for why players feel that way about the deck. Like, why don't you miss it?
I mean, I don't miss it because I felt like it. Not only is it always good against strategies that I enjoy playing, but it completely invalidated any of the other blue tempo-based decks in Modern. Like, you couldn't play... Like, there's no reason for you to play a blue tempo-based deck in Modern and not just play Splinter Twin. It was just a better version.
Consider Twin.
It was just a better version of what you were trying to do.
Right. That's true. No, and I'm not necessarily of the camp that this is the deck. I think that Modern is kind of in this phase where it's just figuring out what it wants to do. We got out of Eldrazi winter, and are we in Thopter Spring, Chris?
No, not even close.
Or is it Cocoa Spring?
I mean, Modern is just as diverse as you could ever hope a format to be. It's frustrating for people that are wanting to play it a lot and be successful because your deck could be very good for one tournament and then very bad for the next tournament. I also think that Modern should have 18 or 20 card sideboards, would fix a lot of it. But Modern is extremely diverse. I don't think that there's anything that is like super, like just super oppressive or whatever. This game is starting out very similar to to the last game where we had a Kiln Fiend taken care of by an epic confrontation from a young wolf. Gush is going to try and refill some gas here from Moxflip, but we're also getting some information here in chat. It looks like one of the people that have been leaking cards on Salvation for Eternal Masters is mentioning a new format, which would be kind of cool. Let's see if we can get some more information in chat. We'll bring you that throughout the cast once we get some more info. But we've got a bunch of action. Ooh, and Moxflip just ends up discarding an island after that Gush. That's never a good thing, where you use all your resources and set yourself back some turns just to discard.
Well, hopefully he has enough mana for the rest of that hand to work. Otherwise, he may have pitched the wrong card.
Yeah.
I do love that epic confrontation coming in. Like, the fact that it was, like, so relevant, these two sideboarded games, is hilarious to me.
Yeah,
Because you look at this spell, right, Chris?
Just any way to interact. Like, this mono green deck is going to be very short on ways to interact. And epic confrontation is what fits the bill. Lightning Bolt's going to take care of Pit Skulk. That was a 2/2. Brindle Shout hit the board, so we've got a 1/1 and a 2/2 that are both sticky threats. So this is a good spot for Max.
Place Legacy, Snafu.
That's interesting.
Those are fighting words.
Non-reserveless Legacy. I mean, that's basically like what I suggested when Eternal Masters was first spoiled. Was that, what does Legacy look like if dual lands are banned?
Well, more people could play it, I guess, is the short answer.
I think it'd be just fine.
Does that mean I need to go to the pawn shop and pawn my duels?
No. I mean, even if they make a new format, like, the duels are still going to be worth money.
Good. Just kidding. You know what? I think that's like the big. Oh, go ahead.
Double Rancor.
Yeah. Oh, the trickery.
Oh! Groundswell's going to save one. I mean, the trickery's not even all that
just
great.
Let the
Both of the creatures come back.
Why did you? It is true. I almost would have just let the show die.
I mean,
I don't think he needed to spend a groundswell. You're right, Chris. Both those creatures died, and the trickery didn't matter.
He also got in damage, right? Like, he got in 5 points of damage from the groundswell, which is fine. But it's like, man, that electricity is supposed to be insane. But it's not insane.
It's not that good here. It looks like he also, true. He brought in the shoats as well as these confrontations. Maybe I was wrong. Maybe he didn't touch the gut shots, because I guess the creatures you're most afraid of aren't the Delvers in this matchup.
Yeah,
because they're pretty aggressive.
Well, Flame Slash is going to take care of that undead. The 2/2 young wolf. He's going to use a Terramorphic Expanse to find another mountain. But he's still just under a lot of pressure from this Brindle Shout. Is it Brindle Shout or Brindle Shoat?
I think it's pronounced Shoat. Double Rancor. Oh, baby.
SHOAT. Is that Shoat or Shout?
I don't know. That seems like a made-up word.
She's the grammar police.
It's a made-up word? All right. To the dictionary.
Young pig.
Yeah. Shoat?
Shoat.
Yep, it's Shoat.
She's correct.
She's my word manager.
A young pig, especially one that is newly weaned. North American now.
All right. Well, this 5/1 Brindle Shoat is putting the beat down on Moxflip. It may be a young pig, but it's got quite the bit of rancor for his opponent.
Such rancor. Such justice. I kind of want to see Max win this one. Oh.
Lightning Bolt's going to turn into a 3/3. Put those 2 rancors back in his hand. Card's so good.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, that's a good point. People are talking now in chat, Chris, about what we were just briefly touching on. And now we're just going to saddle up these rancors again, aren't we, on this board?
Yeah, why not? Deal with it.
They're talking about if you lose Cradle, you lose Elves, potentially.
I mean, are we really that upset with that? Let's be honest.
I mean, I thought you loved well, I thought you loved Elves.
I mean, not Legacy Elves.
Oh. Fair enough.
As long as I can have my show and tell, I don't care either way. We can change Legacy
you would still
around.
get to play show and tell. But like I guess
Ooh.
okay, that's funny. Like, think. Okay,
And
so,
Max is going to take the match. Max is going to win 2-1. Looked like he was just dead to rights in game 2, but he had double Vines of Vastwood to solve the game up.
It's such a cool game too, wasn't it, Chris?
Yeah, that game was awesome.
And double vines, but using it on Flip this or Moxflip's creature.